She hits the ground hard, one hand instinctively cradling her stomach as gasps ripple across the private tarmac. Security freezes. No one moves. Phones rise. A pregnant woman, humiliated in silence, struggles to stand while whispers crawl through the air like smoke. This wasn't supposed to happen in a place built for the untouchable. She had already endured the stares, the quiet dismissal, the unspoken exile. She thought the humiliation was over. She was wrong, because what just happened wasn't an accident, it was a message. A message delivered in public, backed by money, ego, and borrowed power. And as the jet's tinted windows reflected the chaos below, something shifted. Someone was watching, someone who wouldn't look away anymore. Rewind the footage and you'll see the version sold to the world. A billionaire smiling beside his wife, glossy covers praising devotion, interviews rehearsed to sound humble. He spoke about legacy, about family, about values that photographed well. And beside him stood a woman who didn't chase cameras, who carried herself quietly, proudly, visibly pregnant with a future she believed was protected. She was loyal where he was strategic, private where he was performative. Because behind the headlines, cracks were already spreading. Late nights explained away, distance disguised as ambition, love reduced to optics. And while the public applauded the fairy tale they were shown, someone else was already living comfortably in the shadows, waiting patiently for permission to surface. She didn't whisper her way into the room. She walked like she owned it. The mistress moved through elite lounges and private terminals with a confidence she hadn't earned, flashing smiles that leaned on someone else's money. Staff noticed. They always do. The side glances, the sudden authority, the way rules bent when she spoke. Insiders murmured. Forums speculated. Everyone knew who she was, even if no one said it out loud. She wasn't powerful, she was proximate, and that proximity fed an arrogance that grew louder every day. Being chosen felt like being crowned. Being untouchable felt like permission, and that borrowed confidence, unchecked and applauded by silence, was about to cross a line it could never uncross. Voices rise near the jet, sharp and performative, cutting through the polite hush of private travel. The mistress leans in, words meant to wound, not resolve. The wife answers softly, one hand on her belly, dignity straining under pressure. Then it happens. A sudden movement, a kick. Cameras catch everything. The sound is dull, final. She stumbles, and for one endless second, time stops. Security looks anywhere but here. Staff pretend not to see. That pause lasts forever, long enough for rage to bloom in every witness who can't intervene. This wasn't just cruelty. It was a public declaration of dominance, and as the silence settles heavier than the impact, something irreversible clicks into place. What happened next didn't just shock witnesses, it rewrote who held power. Right there, in daylight. He stands a few steps away, still eyes scanning consequences instead of his wife on the ground. No shout, no rush forward, no outrage, just a breath, a glance at cameras, a choice. In that moment, his wealth speaks louder than love, and his silence lands heavier than the kick. This is the betrayal that cuts deepest, not the affair, but the calculation. He weighs optics against humanity and lets the scale decide. To everyone watching, it's clear who he's protecting and who he's not. The crowd feels it, that drop in the chest when power refuses responsibility. Because when a man with everything does nothing, nothing becomes violence. And the world starts asking questions he can't control. The internet noticed. Within minutes, the footage is everywhere. Cropped clips, slowed frames, captions burning with disbelief. Hashtags climb, comments multiply, timelines flood with anger and recognition. Influencers dissect the silence, lawyers pause, mothers speak. Immigrants, women, anyone who's ever been dismissed feels it personally. This isn't gossip anymore. It's collective judgment, millions of eyes refusing to look away. Screens glow worldwide as disbelief hardens into moral certainty. The outrage takes shape, grows teeth, demands accountability where money once buried truth. The billionaire's team scrambles, but the story outruns them. Because once the internet decides you're wrong, wealth can't buy quiet. And while the world argued online, 3 men were in the air. The jet touches down without ceremony. Tires kissing the runway like it belongs there. No sirens, no spectacle, just a $50 million shadow stretching across the tarmac. Conversations fade. Heads turn. The billionaire notices. This isn't flash, it's certainty. The door opens slowly, deliberately, as if time itself is being asked to wait. 3 men appear, stepping out in tailored.com, faces unreadable, posture unshaken. They don't rush. They don't scan for approval. Success clings to them, the kind earned, not rented. In that silence, everyone feels it's a shift, the pressure, the sense that something irreversible has arrived. Because real power doesn't announce itself. It arrives, lets the room adjust, and then decides when to speak. And then the doors opened. Each step is measured, deliberate, as if the runway itself acknowledges their authority. Suits crisp, shoes silent against polished tarmac. They advance without a word, without urgency. Cameras capture the contrast. The mistress, loud and performative, versus these men whose quiet commands attention without a single raised voice. The billionaire shifts uneasily, realizing influence isn't about noise, it's about presence. Observers feel the weight in the air, attention built by restraint, a power born of certainty. Every footfall stretches the moment, slow motion in real life, magnifying the inevitability of what's coming. Eyes lock, hearts skip, whispers vanish. The mistress laughs, confident, untouchable, until she recognized one face. Asterisk whispers become murmurs as names are spoken, connections traced, alliances exposed. Boardrooms that once bowed to his ego now hesitate, contracts reconsidered, deals paused. The billionaire scans the tarmac, a flicker of panic behind his polished composure. Every calculated move he relied on, every influence he counted as leverage, suddenly feels fragile. The brothers move with authority that can't be bought or intimidated. Power has shifted quietly, decisively, leaving him exposed in plain sight. Witnesses feel it too, the vindication of the powerless, the triumph of presence over pretense. And just as relief begins to settle, a deeper shock awaits. But the most shocking moment wasn't the confrontation. Asterisk they pause, silent, letting the weight of the moment hang. No threats, no shouting, no drama to satisfy an audience. The brothers guide their sister forward, steady hands and steady eyes, every step radiating calm authority. She rises, dignity intact, shoulders squared, moving away from humiliation rather than sinking into it. Strength here isn't loud, it's measured, deliberate, unshakable. The tarmac watches, the cameras record, the world absorbs the lesson without a single word spoken. Every eye catches it. Power is not in dominance, but in restraint. And the world noticed that too. Asterisk within hours, brands sever ties, logos vanish from social feeds, endorsements evaporate, legal teams scramble, statements drafted, settlements whispered behind closed doors. The mistress disappears from every public stage, her confidence replaced by absence. The billionaire releases a polished, hollow statement, carefully avoiding accountability. Outside, the public's judgment spreads faster than any press release, fueled by outrage, social feeds and shared clips. Reputation, once assumed untouchable, falters under the weight of collective eyes and voices. Asterisk in a world obsessed with noise and domination. True authority needs no spectacle, no threats, no borrowed influence. Real power doesn't kick down. It shows up and walks away with dignity.